Let me take you guys out on a road trip. We're gonna leave this current Call of Duty behind and venture out to my most hated Call of Duty of all time, which was set in 2018, Black Ops 4. For years, this game has remained my final option to play on my system, and it's become my priority number one to play because I wanted to make this video for you guys. Sure, I may have had a lot of fun moments back then when I was playing this game, and most recently, a lot of my moments were, what the hell is going on here? A lot of people didn't believe that Black Ops 4 was going to make it because it was the first Call of Duty with a Battle Royale, made it clear that Treyarch was just trying to copy and paste Fortnite. And to add a greater insult to this game, it's still being sold for $60 when 90% of the content is just reused assets from other games. But I'm just gonna say this right now, why would you spend $60 on this game when you can just go to the other Call of Duties and just play those same maps right there? You have so much of a better time over there. You're really not supposed to tell people how to spend your money, and well, I'm not telling you how to spend your money, I'm just trying to give you the warnings of what this game is about to be when you play it. So could everybody please join me on why Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is my most hated Call of Duty of all time? Like everybody that watches my video, I was young just like you. I was naive enough to buy the next Call of Duty game, and it shattered my immersion. Actually, this Call of Duty right here is the reason why I stopped buying other Call of Duty games, except for Modern Warfare 2019 and 2022. Those two were decent. I can be able to summarize this whole video, or my bad, I can summarize this whole game in 3 words: overexhausted, greed, and laziness. So where do I even begin? Well, how about we start off with the part of Call of Duty that made me fall in love with the Black Ops series, the Zombies mode. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 has made a lot of changes to Zombies mode. There were a lot of good changes and a lot of bad changes. I'll start off with the good because I think that's where it needs credit. We received a new perk system that tried to eradicate the crutch perk situation where everybody was always running Juggernaut, Quick Revive, Double Tap, and Speed Cola, now making perks a more personal thing. If you're somebody that likes using PhD Flopper, it's back in the game. If you're somebody that likes to adopt a camping playstyle, Stronghold is your perk. If you're someone that wants to not get hit by zombies all the time, Wailing Hounds is your perk. Making perks a more preference orientation was a smart idea to eliminate the crutch perk situation. Therefore, every perk had a chance to be used and nothing will be decentivized. Customization returns. This time we have operator mods. Think of these like super buffs for your gun. But the biggest change we ever got into zombies was that we got 3 free maps from the very beginning: Voyage of Despair, 9, and Blood of the Dead. I always thought receiving one map was a bad thing because we only get one chance to enjoy it. It's either good or bad, which was Transit for Black Ops 2, being the worst zombies map ever.
Hey, asshole! I'm telling you to stop or I'm driving you off a cliff!
These 3 changes alone is enough to keep anybody's attention glued to zombies for a while, but there is more bad than good. It's quick for me to mention that when I re-downloaded Black Ops 4, I also re-downloaded Black Ops 3 for its zombies. When I did that, I went over to that game, I played the zombies mode, had a good time, came back here, and understood the problems. So let's start off with the first problem, the perk system. For years, Treyarch has noticed that the COD community has been selecting the 4 same perks. These perks are what I mentioned: Juggernaut, Speed Cola, Quick Revive, and of course Double Tap. These are what we called crutch perks. They're basically perks that we need in order to survive, like an actual crutch. Treyarch wanted to completely eliminate crutch perks, and by starting with that, they had to first get rid of the 4 perks that we known and love since Call of Duty Black Ops 1. They're technically not gone, they're still in the game. You spawn in with Juggernaut with 200 HP, although I think it's made worse because in Black Ops 3, you got hit 5 times and that's it, you were dead. In this game, you got hit 4 times and that's it. Double Tap has been implemented in the Pack-a-Punch system. By Pack-a-Punching your gun 5 times, you would obtain the Double Tap perk. which would be upwards of 10,000 points you have to spend on the Pack-a-Punch machine. By obtaining all 4 perks, you would obtain the Speed Cola effect, and Quick Revive was made obsolete due to the implementation of self-revives. By doing this, Treyarch had forced the community to work with the perks that they implemented in the game, like PhD Flopper, Death Perception, and Wailing Hounds like I mentioned. Now, like I said, this idea is brilliant, but it comes with its issues. Issue number 1 is that Treyarch has taken away our beloved perks. Juggernog is a huge staple in the Black Ops series. It's been in every Black Ops game but this. When you take that away from us, we don't think this is Black Ops, we think it's something else. Imagine I took away the McDonald's sign from a fast food joint, therefore everybody wouldn't know this is McDonald's they're dining out at. Or how about a greater example? How did you guys feel when Elon Musk took the bird away from Twitter and replaced it with that disgusting X?
You think this is funny?
In a cosmic sort of way, yes.
Well, Mr. Funny Man, is this how you get your sick kicks?
What? It's just an ordinary crabby. Oh my goodness! Squidward!
Juggernog, Speed Cola, Quick Revive, and Double Tap, they're a huge part of the Black Ops franchise. Taking that away from the player base greatly divided people because of another great reason. They had their own jingle, kind of like a sales pitch or some kind of commercial ad. They brought life into the game.
Your hands are cold. Your movements lifeless. You want more speed. You're feeling restless.
Sir, take a sip, yes!
You will move much faster. You ask how?
Speed Cola's the answer! Hey!
I press those lips against the only one that truly moves you. Speed Cola, speeds of your life.
And I'm sorry to say this, but how could you take away Quick Revive? Every time when I'm waking up in the morning, though I have to go do something, I always have the Quick Revive jingle playing for my alarm clock.
Tastes like fermented herring dipped in cat piss.
I think Dempsey is right. It is a bit fishy.
If you wanna get up, you need a little revive.
And let me just hop to the second problem of the perk system. No matter how hard you try to get rid of crutch perks, they will always exist. Actually, to be honest, they will always exist in every game. Take a look at this Helldivers 2 footage I got. No matter how many times I start up a hard difficulty, I always take the orbital rail cannon and the 500 kilogram bomb, because it's great at eliminating large hordes and heavy enemies.
Sending in an eagle.
This is Pelican 1. I got visual on the strike zone.
In Black Ops 2, I always stick with the 2 same perks, Bangalore and Dying Wish. Dying Wish always gives me an extra life when I get down to low health, and Bangalore doubles my ammo supply by a lot, because ammo is really important in zombies. While those 2 are my main perks, I always leave 2 slots open so I can experiment with other perks. I do the same thing in Helldivers 2 because I don't always want to keep using the same thing all the time. I mean, what reason do I have to take off Death Perception? The tracking of the zombies is really bad in this game. Sure, they follow you from behind, but they like to spawn 3 seconds ahead of you, and you can't tell if they're coming at you or not. So if I have Death Perception, I can be able to anticipate that time. I think the direction they should have gone in is create maps that encourage the player to run these different kinds of perks. Like, let's go back on Black Ops 3. I think Black Ops 3 was onto something. On the moon and Origins, I can never be able to get anywhere because the mud and low gravity environments make it hard for traversal. So if I get stamina up, that helps me to traverse through the environment with relative ease. Zetsubo no Shima has a lot of tight corridors to run through, so I always go Widow's Wine because I can be able to fit through the zombies when I stun them. And the old method to get double tap was such more simpler than obtaining 10,000 points and running it through the Pack-a-Punch machine just to get your gun at the fullest potential. Nobody wants to spend that much on their gun. I understand Cold War implemented this system too, but trust me, that's not a good system. Nobody wants to spend 25,000 points just to get their gun to their fullest potential. It's super tedious. I'm not saying they didn't accomplish their goal. I do see a lot of people use different perks all the time when I'm playing Black Ops 4 Zombies, but I am saying that this new perk system definitely brought a lot of downsides that I didn't like. and I'm not the only one that didn't like it. A lot of people were complaining about the loss of Juggernog. Anyways, now that we're moving away from the perk system, let's talk about the start of Zombies. At the very beginning of Zombies, you get to start off with one of many guns. You can have the Mog shotgun, you can have a 3-round burst pistol, or a regular pistol, or you can have the revolver, or you can have a tactical rifle. And on top of that, a submachine gun. While you get to choose those options, you also get to choose what type of grenades you bring. You can have regular grenades, you can have wraith fires, claymores, acid grenades, or a straight up sentry gun. What? And to complement that, you get the specialist equipment from the very beginning. You don't have to go on a quest to get it. While these are good changes, it actually brings me to my next point. The game is too easy for you. You spawn in the map with a shotgun or SMG. You spawn in the map with the specialist equipment that you can get at round 3. And you spawn in the map with wraith fires that give you infinite damage. You spawn in the map as the God of War. There is no vulnerability at the start of the game. Like I said, you already spawn in with Juggernog. You have 200 HP, therefore you can soak up as many hits as you want. Back in the old days, you only got hit 2 times and that's it, you were dead. Black Ops 3, you got hit 3 times and that's it, you were dead. You really had to be careful on how you do things. You had to build barricades, find a certain way to kill zombies to obtain more points. There was a lot of things you have to take into factor just so you can get your perks. Nowadays, everybody sticks inside the starting room until round 4 or 5 until they leave and start buying everything on the map. Remember back then when you started off with just a pistol and it had very limited ammo, forcing you to either buy your way to the mystery box or better, a wall buy so that you can survive the other environments? I'm not saying you can't do that. What I am saying is that they made that option obsolete when you can just stick inside the starting room. You already have a shotgun or a tactical rifle, or better, an SMG. You can just stay in there for as long as you want until you run out of ammo and then buy your way straight to the mystery box. Actually, now thinking about it, why waste your time buying perks? You might as well go straight to the pack-a-punch machine so you can get your double tap perk, because most of the guns in this game sucks, except for the wonder weapons. Getting to the wonder weapons, I have to talk about the maps first, so let's talk about that. Like I said from the very beginning, this is the first Call of Duty Zombies we ever gotten where we got 3 maps. Voyage of Despair, 9, and Blood of the Dead. And what's new to this Zombies mode is that we got 2 different storylines, one with Chaos Crew and the Ether Crew returns. This is more of a personal issue for me, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that feels this. I really don't like the Chaos Crew. The maps they're on, including with the zombies they have to face, is really bad. Not to mention that they're parallels to the Ether Crew. Shaw is like the mad scientist from Rick Toffin. Bruno's the brute of the group, kinda like Nikolai. There's no wise ass in this group, but I guess Scarlet fits that role. And Diego looks exactly like Dempsey. The Chaos storyline wasn't interesting at all. Not only that, but the gameplay for the Chaos Crew was god-awful. You had to face so many boss enemies, and I'll get to that, but right now I'm just talking about the Chaos Crew. But hey, at least the maps they came from were interesting and new. Voyage of Despair, you started off at the same way as the Titanic sunk. On 9, you started off on a Roman gladiator pit, or whatever the hell this is, I don't really know. What I do know is that all of this you see on screen is not real. Apparently, all of this is happening inside our mind. This is what happens when you vape too much. I didn't get the DLC maps because I was questioning if I should spend money on this game, so that's why you're not going to be able to see any game footage of me playing on those maps, but I can still critique them. So if you're somebody that don't like playing on the Chaos maps, like me, then the only free Ether Zombies map is Blood of the Dead. Or shall I say, Mob of the Dead. Yep, they copy and pasted most of Mob of the Dead, except that we have a new wonder weapon and a few new areas to travel towards. The only thing I liked about Blood of the Dead was revisiting the Mob of the Dead section, because that was a very special map. It was Alcatraz prison, a real life prison with a real life crew that actually escaped from that. Except now, that crew is replaced with Richtofen's crew. Like, it doesn't feel special anymore. I actually really appreciated how much work they put into Mob of the Dead, because it just showed how much homework they put into it. There was love, care within that. When you just remaster this and add new areas, it doesn't show that you care, it just shows that you ran out of ideas, so you had to use old maps in order to fill in that time. And really, that's the story for all the Ether Zombies map. On Classified, it's just 5, except this time we don't have the Pentagon Thief. On Alpha Omega, it's just a remaster of Nuketown, which has been used 9 times in the COD history. And Tag der Toten was Call of the Dead. I think this map really bothered me most because Call of the Dead was to pay tribute to a man who died, George Romero, who enjoyed making zombie films.
Don't you want to finish our movie?
But I will admit they did pay tribute to him.
Whose glasses are these?
A great man, Sammy. He shined a light in the darkest corners of our souls.
So, what made Blood of the Dead so bad? I mean, if it's a remaster of Mob of the Dead, then how could they make things worse? Simple, everything that I just mentioned earlier, except that we got some new problems with this map. First being, is that the catwalk is the worst place to travel through in COD history. There is constantly zombies poking their arms through the holes and swiping at you. Now, they don't do a lot of damage, but that's not the problem. The problem is they're touching you. Could you imagine being low at 50 health and you desperately need to heal back up? No, these zombies are going to constantly keep swiping at you, stopping you from healing. This is terrible. And to make matters worse, it's very tight. There's no training room around here. And to make this bridge worse is added with a new feature of this zombies mode. Zombies are constantly spawning 3 seconds ahead of you. Every time you're pushing forward, there's always 1 or 2 zombies ahead of you, blocking off your path, making sure you have to stay in place and kill it, forcing you to adopt a more run and gun playstyle. Speaking of training room, they actually did bring some new training spots around the map. You can train around the power area from the very beginning, or next to the first Hellhound. I'm really excited that the Sweeper and the Victorious Withering returns, along with the new Wonder Weapon. Speaking of the new Wonder Weapon, it sucks.
Dying Wish, baby, let's go. Why are these dogs not dying like there's... What do you mean? Are you kidding me? What just killed me? I had 2 shots out. It's supposed to attract all the zombies. That's what it does. Are you kidding? What? Like what?
The Magma Gat could have been good if it actually stuck to its purpose. Its job is to lure zombies into the magma areas that you fire at and kill them. Problem is, it can only hold up to a certain amount of zombies. Worst part is that the magma areas do damage to you. Again, healing in this game is very important, so if my weapon is hurting me, then that's a problem. Now, the Victorious Withering also does that, but you can cancel out that explosive damage by getting PhD Flopper. But what really annoys me about this map is that Pack-a-Punch is consistently moving around the map, and it doesn't give a good indication of where it's at. Even though Mob of the Dead's Pack-a-Punch system was very tedious, I actually enjoyed it because it showed that the crew who escaped Alcatraz prison is building a plane to get to the Golden Gate Bridge. Call me crazy, but I liked the old Mob of the Dead system way better than this. So, if you don't like the only free Ether Zombies map, you're then stuck with Voyage of Despair and 9. Now, what makes those maps so bad? Well, to be honest, the map design is actually pretty good. 9 has a lot of training room, and like I said, it's like a Roman Colosseum, and you start off on Voyage of Despair the same way as the Titanic sunk. Sure, the rooms may look the same on Voyage of Despair, but hey, at least it offers enough good training spots and camping locations to hang out at. In 9, there's like 4 towers that worship every god, such as the sun god Ra, Danu, Odin, and Zeus. It has a theme there. And the best part, the wonder weapons that comes to these maps are actually pretty good. You get to have a scorpion that shoots lightning bolts, or better, a cannonball machine. So, I will admit, the wonder weapons and map design for the Chaos Crew are actually pretty good. But there's one thing about the Chaos Crew that separates it from the Ethers Crew. There's too many damn boss zombies. Take a look at this footage for 9. Look at the madness that's going on screen. I have to deal with regular zombies, which are already overwhelming enough. I have to deal with the Blight Father if I ever get grabbed by his tongue. Worst of all, I gotta deal with tigers that have the same speed as hellhounds. And I also got catalyst zombies, which come in elemental forms. And to make matters worse, I also have to deal with gladiators. I have to worry about those guys that jump towards me and swipe, along with the guys that throw axes at me from a distance. All of this combined into one round makes this a living nightmare to focus on what to shoot at first. But actually, there comes a bigger question I need to ask you. Why would I shoot at anything else but the water catalyst first? Answer is, I wouldn't. The second these guys spawn in, they flee the area and juice up every zombie around them, making them more powerful and durable to kill. It's like they drink G Fuel. There's so many boss zombies on the Chaos Story maps that it makes me not want to save my teammates. Speaking of saving your teammates, you don't have to save them at all. When they die, they respawn back with all their guns. What the hell is this? It defeats the whole reasoning of working together as a team. Back in the old days, if you died, you lost all your guns. It gave your teammates a reason to go pick you up, because if you spawn back in with just a pistol, that means that you had to carry the match. Nowadays, the game is set to easy mode. You can just die off and have your one teammate clutch up the round while you respawn back with all your guns, and the only thing you have to worry about is getting your perks. This zombies is 100% not the zombies I would go to. Like I said, it'll be at the bottom of my list. Although I have to be honest, I can't rank it as the worst zombies because I haven't played Vanguard and especially this new zombies in Modern Warfare 3. But I will admit, it does have some good things. It does have some good bones in it. But some of that is also outclassed by the bad things. However, I actually could recommend this zombies for somebody to play. But definitely not buying the DLC Zombies map. No. I would talk about Blackout, but most of my time playing that is just my own teammates team killing me and going back to the lobby just to wait 5 minutes to start up a game. Why is this a thing in a Battle Royale game? I thought the idea of quads was to work together as a team. More proof that Call of Duty should have never gone in the Battle Royale section, because this community is based off ogre-minded children.
Oh, that's not very nice. It's just a donkey.
There's no reason to play on a team because, let's be honest, you're gonna mess up at some point, and once you do, there's gonna be a teammate ready to put a bullet in your frontal lobe. But if you want to know what Blackout is like playing, well, it's basically PUBG, just reskinned into Call of Duty. Again, why would you spend $60 on this when you can play PUBG for free? So since Blackout is just a copy and paste of a game we already know, I'm just gonna talk about multiplayer. Black Ops 4 multiplayer brought back all the specialists that we knew from Black Ops 3. Well, most of them. The only new specialist we got was Zero, Torque, Recon, and Crash. Only 4. While the other specialists are just straight from Black Ops 3, which isn't bad. I'm really glad they brought Reaper back. He's my favorite.
Deploying side. Hostile neutralized. Enemies destroyed.
Strike available for tasking.
Enemy down.
Mantis available for tasking.
Kill count ++.
Also, can I just talk about how this thing was supposed to kill me, but decided to just go the opposite direction?
I gotta get out of here!
Since these guys are returning, that means their specialist weapons are returning too. If anything, this game had some promise within the multiplayer mode. From the trailers that we got, it showed that they were going to bring specialists that actually brought equipment to support the operators. And it actually was that. Crash can be able to give people health and ammo, Torque can be able to put up a barbed wire or a barricade to block off entry points, and Seraph can be able to bring people on our attack deploy beacon. While those operators are more of a supportive role, we actually have operators that can also fit into an offensive mode.
Best part. No medals for second place. Get to work.
Care package on standby.
An enemy hacker is attempting to breach our systems.
To me, it seemed like Treyarch wanted to make this Call of Duty a more team orientation type game. No more people running around saying, "Oh, you stole my kill." It's all about working together as a team in order to win the game. For every match I played, it seemed like everybody brought Crash due to him giving you a max ammo and doubling your health. Although a Reaper does fit into an offensive role, he does have a radar shroud to keep people hidden on the map, not requiring a counter UAV.
Launching radar shroud. Crash nulled.
I like seeing these ideas being used in this Call of Duty, but this game still suffers the same problem I had with Black Ops 3 multiplayer. What faction are we fighting for? I understand that Seraph comes from the 54 Immortals, which their story wasn't very interesting in Black Ops 3, and I guess Ruin and Battery comes from the US military, I guess? Also, there's zombies here? What? Like, the operator videos were not amusing at all. They tried to make that as the campaign, but it failed miserably. The only operator video I actually enjoyed was Firebreak, because he's the one that burned his abuser. Also, can I talk about how this kid is not dead? I thought you pulled the trigger on the child. How is she still alive?
I can't. It's a child.
Protect the VIP.
Firing.
Target down. Good job, soldier.
You're thanking me for this?
Check your scope. It was a test, Kimura.
I can't. It's a child.
Protect the VIP.
Moving over to the loadout section, the first thing I noticed is that some guns from Black Ops 3 return, except they're in their pre-evolved states. I thought that was pretty cool. The KN-57 is supposed to be the KN-44, and the Spitfire is supposed to be the Vesper. Like I mentioned in Zombies, we now got operator mods. These things are basically like super buffs for your gun. You can have a crossbar, you can have a wildfire for the Spitfire. There's a lot of things that changed with the gun. Unfortunately, we don't have operator mods for every gun in the game, which I thought was pretty bad. Something new that's coming to Call of Duty is operator equipment. This comes with a recharge system so that your specialist equipment comes faster, a stim shot so that you can still hold your gun out while firing, and body armor. One thing bad I will say about this system is that they took away our passive and lethal grenades. In order to have those equipped, you need to take away your passive operator equipment. Why would I trade my grapple gun for a grenade? I need my grapple so I can get to corners to kill people with Ruin. What reason do I have to equip a concussion grenade when Ajax has the 9-bang? There's no reason for me to get rid of my 9-bang. Even though we lost our passive and lethal grenades, well, not really. That's not the greatest issue with this loadout screen. Have you noticed that for every gun on the loadout screen, there's a very limited amount, especially for shotguns? Oh, and let's face it, the Mog shotgun sucks. The only good shotgun you have is the SG-12. From the beginning of Black Ops 3, there's been a huge flood of DLC weapons coming to the Call of Duty community, and at the beginning of Modern Warfare 2019, they made it so that you have to do challenges to unlock these DLC weapons. In Black Ops 4, however, you have to pay $20 just to unlock one DLC gun. Oh, you mean I have to pay to win? Oh, what's that? You don't have to pay to win. If you just spend your time on the game and keep opening up our supply drops, you might get a chance to get the DLC weapons. Oh, great! It's Black Ops 3 all over again. Cool. I spent $60 on this game just to have a good portion of the game to be locked behind the most outrageous prices ever. When I first saw this come to Call of Duty, I was like, that's it, I'm done with this game. There's no point for me playing it anymore. But I still kept playing it until I realized it wasn't worth playing because one of the DLC guns that came from those supply drops was outrageously overpowered. The Stingray. Alone, this gun is not much to talk about, but the operator mod is what made it so overpowered. It came with explosive tips that are able to take down everybody and every score streak, including the gunship. No need to grab the rocket launcher because the Stingray can just do that job for you. This is the reason why I quit Black Ops 4, because they promised not to bring back loot boxes, and most importantly, they promised not to lock the DLC guns behind them. And before I go any further, I just want to let you know that Treyarch is the ones that created all this, but they're not the ones that came up with these decisions. It's always Activision. Activision is the most greedy company out there. At the very least, at least they put the DLC weapons in Black Ops 4 Zombies. But this too also have problems. Apparently, you need to unlock the weapons in multiplayer just so you can put attachments on them in Black Ops Zombies. Wow, great, I still gotta pay to win. I don't care what anybody has to say about them giving us one free bribe. I don't care what anybody has to say about you have to save up to 50 supply drops just so you can get one more. You're still walking most of the fun mode behind the most outrageous prices of them all. But how are the maps in Black Ops 4? I'm pretty sure they're pretty good, right? Well, they are, but that's just because they've been taken from other Call of Duty games. Summit, Slums, Firing Range, Nuketown, and Grind, they just be taken from other Call of Duty games, except this time they didn't bother try revamping anything. The only map they revamped is Nuketown, but that's just because it's been in every other Black Ops game. But you wanna know what else doesn't come back to Black Ops 4? A campaign!
What? How can you do this? This is outrageous. It's unfair.
It's obvious these maps play well because, well, they've been in every god tier Call of Duty game, but what about the new maps they brought to this game? Well, to be honest, the only new map I enjoy is Hacienda. That's because there's 2 lanes that are very far stretched out, making it competitive for a long range and close range of combat. But the one thing I noticed that these maps had in common was that most of the combat takes place indoors, making a lot of the aerial score streaks terrible. I mean, the gunship is good, but that's because it's operated by a human. I'm talking about score streaks like the Thresher and Sniper's Nest. Literally, everybody's keeping indoors, so there's no point to bring these things when you might as well run the Strike Team or Mantis so that you can flush them out. Another issue I had, and this is the same issue that I had in Black Ops 3, was that since there's no, real faction, like you're fighting for the Russians or you're fighting for the US, every operator is reused for the same faction, making it so that it's hard to distinguish friend from foe. Now, it's not a major issue, but it's definitely something to add on the list because it just shows that you didn't bother to try to create any interesting factions or try to create different operators for different teams. It just shows that they ran out of time. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 multiplayer is not worth your time. If there's no passion put into the game, then why should I put my love into it? Hey, we finally reached the end. About time, I got tired of talking. So why did Call of Duty Black Ops 4 become my most hated Call of Duty of them all? Well, I can narrow it down to 5 points. 1, it's still locked behind a $60 price tag. 2, they heavily revamped the zombies mode to my disliking, although I do believe some other people could enjoy the zombies mode. 3, they made the game pay to win, locking a lot of the good stuff behind the most disgusting price tags I have ever seen in gaming. 4, there's no campaign. This is the very first Call of Duty without a campaign, which is just bizarre. And 5, they consistently kept using maps and guns from other Call of Duty games and expected everybody to be okay with it. I think what Activision was hoping for is that their audience they're appealing towards were kids. As you know, kids are very gullible, and if they're not set on the right path, then they'll believe that what they're doing or thinking are correct. So I'm guessing that Activision believed that they just kept selling these old Call of Duty maps that the kids have never played on and sell it as if it's a brand new experience, then they can keep doing this forever and make tons of money off of it. But what happens when those kids grow up to be adults and start playing the old Call of Duty games? Well, that doesn't matter, because there's always going to be more kids that are wanting to play Call of Duty. So once they grow up, they'll just focus on a new batch of kids. Like I said, don't blame Treyarch for this. Activision is the one that whipped them down to make this monstrosity. I can recommend this game for people that want to enjoy something short term, but if you want a Call of Duty game that you can enjoy long term, go to Modern Warfare 2019. But that's all I got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, stay safe.